Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
So we're going to talk about Christopher Lamb. He's the Rome correspondent for the Tablet magazine, and you have a few words to say about him.
That's right. Well, he replaced a lad called, I think, Robert Mitchums, who was very good and seemed to have a very realistic understanding of what's going on in Rome and in the Vatican, generally speaking. And but for some reason or other, he was sidelined, or he works now for some very reputable news media. And then to replace him with this gentleman called Christopher Lamb, whose reports from Rome doesn't, to my way, I think it reflect the sort of the actual realities of that place. It's he's speaking from the point of view of a great supporter for the present Pope Francis, which a lot of people have problems with in the Catholic and Christian faith. But he wrote an article there some time ago. As a matter of fact, it was a good while ago, and so I've had it on my radar for quite some time. This year, and he says what he says there's Mother Angelica, the founder in 1981, that founded the EWTN in 1981 with a wing and a prayer. Now, and it says, the powerful US Catholic media network, founded 40 years ago by Mother Angelica, became an uncritical champion of Donald Trump. An uncritical champion. With Trump no longer in the White House and with the support amongst Catholics wavering, EWTN faces some difficult choices about its future direction. That is about the most misleading analysis of EWTN that it would be nearly impossible to find except from some kind of anti-Christian, anti-Catholic bigot. It is about the worst article I've ever read, and I did read it to get some gist of how he based his opinion. He mentions uncritical. I've been looking at EWTN for the past good number of years. Trump was one of the only presidents that was pro-life, attended pro-life marches. His vice president spoke at those pro-life marches, and he also was pro-life in the full sense of the word, President Trump and his vice president and his administration. He certainly didn't. He tried to limit the funds for this, what they call Planned Parenthood, which is a very peculiar title for a crowd that 90% of their work is in termination of life, called abortion. Abortion, the termination of human life is what it is. The killing of babies that could be born. They don't call it names like that, which it is. Suffice to say that so Trump was pro-life, his administration was pro-life, his foreign minister, his Secretary of State, which was Mike Pompeo, I think he'd be a Christian for some other denomination, but they were pretty pro-life. And when they were dealing with anything with regard to United Nations, President Trump spoke very much about the pro-life and pro-God and all the rest of it, irrespective of the fact that his own private life left a bit to be desired at times. But nonetheless, he certainly was the only president that was so that way. He reflected the Constitution of America, which recognised that a belief in God as a fundamental strata of society. It has been gradually tried to be eroded by the forces that have a secular view of life. Yeah. But this man writes about this, and it's completely unhinged. They supported a president that was pro-life. They didn't sort of do it uncritical. They would have had other viewpoints, but the media in the US gave no support whatsoever. And he didn't exactly praise them. He called them what Jesus would have called the Pharisees and the high priests, a gang of hypocrites, and so on and so forth. Even worse than that. So he did. He made a lot of enemies because he was going down that road. And for myself, I think I did a video promoting his views. I wasn't going to be talking about his private life because the private life of people doesn't often be what it appears in the front.
That's right.
Suffice to say, he was a sinner like the rest of us, and but he was doing good, and so one supports a person that's doing good. And he was dealing with the business of the people coming across the border. People are entitled to come in legally when they've satisfied that they're not criminals and all the rest of it. But now, since he left, because of what this President Biden said when he was going forward, he was nearly going to open the border and come on in as many as you like. And with the result now, it's out of control in that country.
Yeah.
But I noticed Mr. Lamb is not talking about that in any of his articles. He's still writing about it, and I get this magazine every week from a friend that gets it. And as I say, we hear nothing about the terrible events at the border now, and the overcrowding and all the rest of it. And they're trying to ignore it, the Democrats. They wouldn't even go near it. But when President Trump decided to pay a visit, the vice president who had charged of it had never gone near it, and she went to some part of Texas, which doesn't have the problem to the same extent. But they're having to devote a percentage of their budget to try and deal with what's coming into it and send them back.
Yeah.
So it's a disaster. But it's funny how the anti-Trump media never saw anything good. And here's this Democratic Party, nothing but chaos under their watch on all fronts, and borrowing money like as if there's a bottomless pit. And according to experts in the US, leading to inflation, which will eventually affect us. And now we have, even in our country, or in the EU, we have them now wanting to go down the secular route completely and attacking Hungary, which has a very strong pro-life. So we can see where there's problems. But if people like Lamb and the media in general are stuck in some angle on very, very spurious grounds and attacking people who support common sense and the rule of law and the respect for human life from conception to natural death. This is what President Trump supports. This is what obviously the Democratic Party in the US and other in the EU don't support. They're trying to sideline the Christian faith altogether and make it nearly a private concern. The Christian people with the Christian faith are entitled to be in the public domain and in the public air and have their views respected and listened to, because their views will benefit society, not the policies that this secular anti-Christian mindset now that seem to be in control. Once you get a monopoly situation in any situation, it's dangerous. The EU Commission now is taking more control than the Parliament in Europe and the parliaments in the various countries. And because they're getting money, they're forgetting their principles. And they will not succeed. Anyone that goes against the natural order will never succeed. They might appear to be, but the success was laid by people that had principles and adhere to them, and the respect for life. If you haven't got that respect, you have nothing.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Oliver.